Hi everyone, I'm Kate. I'm a dog trainer and animal kinesiologist, and today I want to show you how you can have really clear communication with either your dog or your cat by teaching them the training marker. So the training marker is really a beautiful way to have a two-way conversation with your cat or your dog. You're essentially telling them, yes, that's the behavior that I like. I really want you to do more of that. And the dog or the cat learns that because they get a reward for it after the training marker. There's a couple of ways that you can teach the training marker. You can either use a verbal cue like yes as a word, or you can use a mechanical clicker, or another option, if you really want to have your hands free for the training session, you can do a tongue click. I'll show you how to use the mechanical clicker and the tongue click a little bit later, but for now what I'm going to be showing you is how to use the yes marker. So to start, we're going to have some high value treats, so make sure you're using treats that your dog or your cat really likes. We want to increase their motivation for this training session. We want to make them keen to do the work, so make sure you have nice yummy treats for them that they really enjoy. You're going to put some treats in both hands, and you're going to put both your hands behind your back. That's going to be the first step. And what I'll do is I'll just turn to the side so you can see. Sappy, can you come into the middle here? Good girl. So treats in both hands, hands behind your back. I'm not going to ask my dog to do anything. What I'm doing just at this point is just teaching them what the yes marker means, and it means that food is coming. Yes, and then food. So it's very simple. I'm just saying yes, and then food appears. Yes, and do it from both hands. Yes, yes. Now in the beginning, your dog, if they've never learned this marker, they're going to be not really paying attention to what you're saying. So you want to do this little yes and treat over a few sessions, maybe over 3 or 4 sessions, and you will start to see your dog kind of perk its ear up when it hears you say yes, because it's starting to get an understanding of what yes means. Yes means food is coming. So you want to do these little sessions on repeat for a little bit before we start using it in a training situation or in a life situation. So again, I'll just show you, we're putting the treats behind our back. Yes, and then food comes. Now the reason why I have them behind my back is often if I have my hands in front, the dog is kind of watching my hands. They're paying attention more to the food and where the food is coming. I just want to eliminate that and make them pay a little bit more attention to the word that I'm saying. So I just put it behind my back to make that happen. So we're going to do that again. Yes, and then food. So again, you're not asking your dog or your cat to do anything in this stage of the training. You're just teaching that yes means food, yes means good things are coming. Good girl. The other thing that you can do, instead of saying the yes marker verbally, you could use your tongue click. I really like the tongue click because often when we're using a mechanical clicker, it can be a little bit cumbersome, and it does take a little bit of a learning curve to be able to work with it and also do everything else you need to do in your training session. So the tongue click is literally just with your tongue, sort of putting your tongue to the roof of your mouth and then clicking it. I just find that that's a really nice way to have your hands free. So it would be just the same thing, treats behind your back, and then food. So tongue click and then food. Good girl. And you can praise your dog. Good job. Good. When we're training our cats, one thing to really remember is they have a much shorter attention span than dogs. So you're really only going to be able to do a minute or 2 in your training with them. So don't prolong that, otherwise they get a bit miffed and they get a bit frustrated, or they just don't want to do it anymore and they'll just walk off. So make sure your training sessions with your cat are really nice and short, maximum a minute or two. And if you're going to be using food, make sure that your food is nice and small, so it's really bite-sized and they're not getting bogged down eating big chunks of things. So I've got some sausage here, and I could even make this even smaller. These were kind of cut up for my dogs, but for my cat, for Cyper, they could be even smaller. So I'm looking at like a little tiny piece in between my fingers. One thing that you could do in terms of food and treats is you could give them something to lick. So I have this creamy chicken puree, which tends to be something cats really like if it comes in the tube and it's something that they can easily lick. And it's also can be easier to dispense than a treat when you're asking them to do a behavior. So once we've done those little sessions where we're just training what yes means, we're not asking our dog or our cat to do anything. We've done a few of those sessions. It's now time to use the yes marker or the training marker or sound in real life. So the way you would do this is that if you ever ask your dog or your cat to do something and then they do it successfully, that's when you say your yes or your, and then you give them a reward. Really important to follow it up with the reward, otherwise the sound and the yes actually start to not mean anything for the animal. So we want to always make sure that we're following it up with the reward, especially in the beginning when you're teaching a new behavior. So I'm going to demonstrate how I would use the yes marker with Safi. I'm going to ask her for a sit, and the moment she sits, I'm going to say my yes, and then I'm going to give her a reward. Sit. Yes. Good girl. Drop. Yes. Good. Nice. Sit. Yes. 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 So when we are using the yes marker, we want to make sure that we are pairing it very closely with the successful behavior. So if your dog sits and then you wait 3, 4, 10 seconds before you say your yes marker, it starts to muddy the waters for the dog to understand that, oh, when I sit, that's when I get a reward. So when the dog sits, what we really want to do is quickly say our yes as soon as they sit, so that we build that clear communication with them. So sometimes if a behavior is complex or the dog is struggling with it, you might have to look at breaking it down into smaller steps, and each little step that they do successfully, you would say your yes marker or your training sound, and you would give them a reward for that. So I'm teaching Cyper how to do a circle, and one of the ways I'm doing that is I'm breaking that circle down. I'm not asking her to do the full circle all at once, and I'm asking her to follow my finger as she goes around, and at different stages of that circle I'm saying my yes cue and I'm rewarding. Now you can also do your tongue click, and you might find that your cat responds a little bit better to the tongue click because it's not a sound they normally hear. They normally sometimes can be ignoring us when we're talking. So a tongue click is a very defined sound that you can then link with rewarding food. I use the marker word with all my animals, with my dogs, with my cat, with my horses. It's such a great tool for capturing behavior that you like and you want to see more of. And it's also a really beautiful way to teach new behaviors or even break down those difficult behaviors and keep them encouraged and engaged while they're learning. I hope you found this useful, and I hope it helps you develop really clear communication with your cat or your dog. Let me know how you go with it, and until next time, happy training. True. Yes. Good gal. True. Yes. Good gal. Cup, cup. Yes. Good job. Awesome. Good. 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 Yes. Good job.